In the previous video I added switch, so now I can switch between blinking and fading modes. Now I'm gonna add another switch, and this switch will allow me to stop the blinking or fading. First, let's start with hardware. The connection is pretty simple. First, I will take out the resistor because it's on my way. I will connect the jumper wire to the pin number 2 on the MCU and the empty line below the MCU. Now I will add a switch between the VCC and this empty line where I connected the jumper wire. Now I will place back the resistor. And I will add another resistor 10K, or in my case 11K, between the ground and the switch, like this, and that's all we need. Now let's move to the Microchip Studio. Pin number 2 is a PB3, so let's add a mask to the name for that pin. Now I will add new mode to the mode T, and I will name it mode stop. Now I'm gonna add a small function to make the code easier to understand and easier to control. Instead of checking the pin directly everywhere, I now have a single place that decides whether the system should run or stop. It makes future changes much easier. If I ever change how the switch works, I only need to update this one function and everything else will still behave correctly. And I added another one to check if the mode selected is blinking or fade in and fade out. Now in the pwmtick_init function, I wanna set the pin number 2 PB3 as an input and without the internal pull-up resistor, because we have external pull-down resistor connected. Next, I added another function. This function is responsible for starting the correct mode based on the position of the switch. Instead of repeating this decision logic in multiple places, I put it in one function. So whenever the system needs to choose a mode, for example after leaving stop, it just calls this function. Inside, it checks the switch and starts either blink or fade with the correct parameters. This keeps the code cleaner and avoids duplicating the same logic in different parts of the program. Now inside the brightness set function, I wanna check if the brightness is at maximum and if the switch is turned on or off. If it's off, I wanna enter the stop mode, so the LED will stop blinking. And I will replace this with the function I've made. Inside the ISR, I wanna check if the mode stop is active. If it is, I wanna set the brightness to the maximum. And if the switch is flipped, I wanna check which mode is selected, blinking or fading. And I wanna move these few parts to right side because I wanna make this code a little bit easier to read. Inside the fade hold high case, I wanna insert these two lines to check stop condition during holding high. And the last one thing I wanna change in the main function. I wanna change all this part because now I wanna check if the blinking is stopped or not and which mode is selected. Now we can save the file, build the program and upload it into the ATtiny85. And now we can look how it works on the breadboard. Now let's test the circuit in every possible combination if it works correctly. First, let's turn on the device. Now we have blinking mode selected and we have blinking on. Now let's switch to the fade in and out mode and everything works correctly. Now let's stop the fade in and out. And as you can see, fade in and out stopped. Now let's turn on again the fade in and out and it works. Switch to the blinking and it's blinking. Now let's stop the blinking. Blinking is stopped. And when I turn on again blinking, everything works fine. Now let's turn off the device and I want to turn off the blinking and set up device to the blinking mode. And now I want to turn on the device and see if it will work correctly. Yes, it's not blinking. When I turn off again and switch to the fade in and out mode, turn on the device, it's also not fade in and out. So it looks like everything works correctly. When I turn on the fade in and out again, you can see it works. So it looks like everything works correctly. In the next video we will clean up code a little bit. I will show you how to make custom library and we will split the code into few parts so it will be easier to manage everything.